Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today we're going to review the meals that we eat every day and the food groups. We'll review the names of some specific foods, and then we'll talk about what foods you might want to eat for each meal. Maybe we'll set up some meals of our own to see how well we know the food groups and stuff. But let's go ahead and get started, as we always do, with our opening song. Canten conmigo. Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo se sienten? Yo me siento bien. Muy bien cantado. Well, I tell you what, let's start by reviewing the meals of the day and the order in which they're eaten. You guys should be getting pretty good at this by now. You know that primero comemos el desayuno. Primero comemos el desayuno. How about that? Segundo comemos el almuerzo. El almuerzo. And this might be something like what we'd call brunch, between breakfast and lunch, huh? Okay. Tercero, comemos la comida. La comida. And this is a big meal of the day, yeah? And the whole family gets together and they really eat a good hearty meal at lunchtime. Yeah. Cuarto, comemos la merienda. Cuarto, comemos la merienda. And this is like an afternoon snack. And many of you may even have a merienda, and you just call it a snack. Yeah, like when you get home from school and stuff. Quinto, comemos la cena. Yeah, la cena es la quinta comida del día. That's the last one we eat. Now, we've also looked at certain foods and talked about which of the food groups they belong to. Okay? Let's go ahead and look at some of those right now. This is lechuga. Do you remember that? Lechuga? And remember we talked about all of these. So these should be in your notes. Hopefully they're pretty familiar to you. Zanahorias. Zanahorias are those carrots. Yeah. Okay. Don't get this confused with your father. Una papa. Una papa. That's not your papa. Ah, tortillas. I love to eat tortillas. They're really good. You can make a lot of things with them. Tacos, burritos, enchiladas. I love those tortillas. And I also like pan. Yeah, you make toast, sandwiches, all sorts of things with pan. This word here, I like to eat arroz, but it's also fun to say because you get to roll that R. Can everyone say arroz? Arroz. Very good. Pollo is a meal that you'd probably have, something that you'd have with one of your meals that's a little bit heavier. It's not something you'd probably want for breakfast or as a snack. Nor is the bistec. Bistec might be a little bit too heavy to have for a snack, but it might make a good meal for you. We also have frijoles. Frijoles, and those are good. You can make those a lot of different ways. We also looked at huevos. There you go. Huevos. Okay. Or leche. This is what I generally eat with my drink with my meals. Leche. Queso. Yeah. And queso and leche are kind of related. They're both productos lácteos, aren't they? Yeah. Naranja. Una naranja. Una manzana. Aquí está la manzana. This one's really easy, boy. If this one's on the evaluation, it should be no problem at all because it says it right there on the front. Yogurt. Right? And finally, un plátano. And sometimes that one is called a banana. Well, you know what? Last class, we talked about which of the meals we're going to eat each of the foods at. For example, I may ask you this question. ¿Qué vas a desayunar? ¿Qué vas a desayunar? Okay? When I ask you this, I'm asking about your desayuno. So what do you think that you'll eat for your desayuno? Well, I tell you what, for me, I'm going to have something pretty light because this is what you eat real early in the morning. I'll probably just have pan, and maybe I'll toast it so that I can have that. How about if I ask you, ¿Qué vas a almorzar? ¿Qué vas a almorzar? And that comes from the almuerzo, that brunch sort of thing. Now we can look at the picture here to get an idea of what our friend is eating. Okay? Let's see, how about some naranja? That would be good for the almuerzo. Maybe some plátano. Yeah. You might have some pan. Hojuelas de maíz. Those would be pretty good, cornflakes. Con leche. Or you might even have some yogurt or huevos. That's right. And that's just like a brunch. Now we get into the big meals when I ask you, ¿Qué vas a comer? ¿Qué vas a comer? Now this is generally the biggest meal of the day in many countries where they speak Spanish. So you might find things like lechuga, zanahoria, papa. You might get tortillas, arroz. You might have some pollo. Boy, I like that. Bistec. You might have because remember, this is a big meal, so you're going to be eating those heavy foods like that. Una hamburguesa. Ooh, that one looks good. My mouth is watering. Pescado. You might have frijoles. Remember, those give you a lot of protein. And you might even have queso. Sometimes they serve queso as a dessert along with some fruit. Okay? Now, the next question is, ¿Qué vas a merendar? ¿Qué vas a merendar? And remember, this comes from the merienda. We'll usually have something light. Okay? For example, we might just have una manzana y leche. Yeah, that would probably be enough. It's just a snack to kind of hold us over until la cena. And then I'm going to ask you, ¿Qué vas a cenar? ¿Qué vas a cenar? And remember that this meal is eaten pretty late at night in some places, and it's a big meal. So we'll probably get something from each of the 5 food groups, including frutas. Yeah, you probably have some frutas with your cena. You'll probably want to get some verduras and have some verduras with your cena. You'll want some pan y cereal. Those are always really important to eat. Yeah, they'll help give you energy so that you can go out and do things all day long. Pan y cereal. You'll want to get some carne y frijoles. Proteins are important, some of the building blocks of life, and you'll want to eat some of those. Peanuts and beans and all of those things are protein foods too, so you'll want some of those. And of course, you'll want to get some productos lácteos to help you have strong bones and healthy hair and good teeth. Please go over this stuff again now with the video, okay? And try to say all of the words before the video does. Now, you should probably be getting pretty good at this by now. Oh, by the way, today we're going to try a new game, and it's going to require some teams. Now, you guys might want to form up some teams in your class together, but the first time we play, you guys will be a team, and I will be the other team, okay? Ahora, we're going to watch this video. Pongan atención y repitan todos. Las comidas. Hay 5 comidas. La primera comida se llama el desayuno. La segunda comida se llama el almuerzo. La tercera comida se llama la comida. La cuarta comida se llama la merienda. La quinta comida se llama la cena. Alimentos importantes. Hay 5 grupos de alimentos importantes. Frutas, verduras, pan y cereal, carne y frijoles, productos lácteos. All right. Well, now we're going to play a game, and I'm going to play it up here on the kiosk so that all of you can play along. Today's game goes like this. Okay. One team will choose 5 foods from different food groups and put them on the plate to eat. Okay? And that's going to be me. I'm going to be that team. Now, after that team, me, has placed the food up here on the plate, the second team, and that's you guys, will have a chance to tell the name of each of the food items selected by the first team, me. Now, for each food that you get right, you guys get a point. Well, let's try it out, okay? I'm going to give it a try here. I'm going to get my 5 foods. I'm going to take this one, put it up here. How about this? Yeah, I like that. I'm going to put this one right over here. I'm going to have some of this. And put it up there. I'm going to get something else. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. Okay. Now I've got my 5 foods up there on my plate, and I want to see if you guys can tell me what the different foods are. Okay. I'm going to start off with a real easy one, right? Okay. Tell your teachers now, what is this food here? Yogurt. Yogurt, that's right. And like I said, that one was pretty easy because the name's right there on the container. This food here, what do we call this? You can make sandwiches out of it. You can toast it. Pan. Did you say pan? Well, if you did, give yourselves a point. This food here. Yeah. You might have this for dinner or for your comida or for la cena. Do you remember what it's called? It's almost like the word in English, isn't it? Un bistec. Un bistec. Yeah. So if you got that one right, give yourselves a point. This over here, it's half of what I'm going to eat, but you can probably see what that is. You can certainly tell by the color. Do you know what that one's called? A naranja. Naranja. And then up here, this that I'm going to eat, it's a salad, una ensalada. And what does it have inside of it? Can you look in there and tell what that has inside of it? You know what that is? Lechuga. Lechuga. That's right. Okay. How many points did you guys get? Did you get all 5 points on this one? Well, I hope so. Tell you what, now let's add something else to the game. If you can tell me which food group these foods belong to, I'll give you another point. So let's go back and look here at what I've got. We'll start with this one. Yogurt. What food group does that belong to? Do you remember? Okay. Think of what we were talking about when we studied the planets and stuff. Do you remember? The Milky Way, la Vía Láctea. This is from the productos lácteos. From the productos lácteos. Okay, this one here. This is pretty easy because When you name the food, you've named half the group. Do you know what group that is? Tell your teacher if you think you know. Teacher, did they say that this is from the group called pan y cereal? Pan y cereal. Okay. Next one that we talked about was this one. We said that's called the bistec. Yeah? Okay? And that's from the group called carne y frijoles. Carne being meat and frijoles being beans. Carne y frijoles. How about this one here? That's called naranja. And what group does that belong to? That's one of the frutas. Frutas. And finally, this last one up here, my ensalada, my salad that has lechuga in it. Lechuga is what? It is a verdura, from the verduras. Well, now what I've done is I've included as your activity sheet from today the plate and setup and a lot of the foods so that you guys can play too. Your activity sheet looks like this. Okay, this is one page, so you can cut out the foods that I was showing you earlier in the lesson, right? Those came from the activity sheets today too. Cut those out, put those on the plate there so that you can talk about how to get a balanced meal, and it'll give you a chance to review all of the foods. Speaking of reviewing, today we reviewed the meals that people eat in Spanish-speaking countries. We talked about what food you might eat for a given meal. We looked at selecting foods for a balanced meal, getting them from all of the different categories of foods. Now, next class, we'll be learning about the place settings for a table. And teachers, if you can get your hands on some place settings to use next class, even if they're just plastic, the students might enjoy working with them even more than the cutout paper utensils that I've got on the activity sheet. Okay, so you might want to do that. Pero ¿saben qué? Ya es hora de despedirnos. Time to say goodbye. For a goodbye song today, let's sing a song that may not be very appropriate for talking about food. It's called La Cucaracha. And it goes like this. Canten conmigo. Todas las muchachas tienen en los ojos dos estrellas, pero las mexicanitas de seguro son más bellas. La cucaracha ya no quiere caminar, porque no tiene, porque le falta dinero para gastar. Good job, guys. Remember, see if you can get those place settings, plates, forks, knives, spoons, some napkins, some glasses, things like that, so that you can participate while I'm doing the things next class, and it'll help you learn a little bit better. Review what we've been talking about, and I'll see you all next class. Until then, adios y hasta luego. La cucaracha.